Nothing more frustrating for a gardener growing zucchini or squash to have the plant come to maturity, starting to pick your first fruit, your first zucchini or squash, and then only to find out that the plant gets cut down by the squash borer. So this is a method, the barrier method, if you will, and it works. I take 55-gallon drums. These are from a pool company, filled up with muriatic acid. I take these drums, I cut them in half, I drill holes in the bottom of it, fill them up with soil, and this helps me to control much easier, if you will, the ability to cover up the plant completely. So at the bottom, I drill holes, I fill up the bottom with 2 inches of gravel, and then put a piece of landscape cloth on top of the gravel to keep the dirt from plugging up the holes. This is a frost cloth. You could use cheesecloth or anything that lets the light in but keeps the bug out. It is the preferred method that from my experience, 5 years of fighting this battle, this method works, and I'm just now beginning to get my zucchini, and it's exciting to actually see real fruit and to see that the stalk of the plant is still healthy and I have no borers. So that's a victory won for USA. Again, my recommendation is to grow 2 or 3 of the same plant so that you will have fruit, male flowers and female flowers, an abundance of them, so that you've got male flowers and female flowers at the same time. Sometimes the plant will only produce, or will have only male flowers. That's an immature male flower, by the way. It's not yet opened up. In a couple of days it will open up, but notice that it is just a straight stalk. The female flower will have a tiny little fruit attached to it, and if that fruit, if the female flower is not pollinated by the male flower, that fruit will not set and it will fall off, and you'll see it as a shriveled up little rotted thing. So here it is. I'm giving you kind of an example. That flower isn't open, but I'll take the Q-tip, put it in the male flower, transfer that pollen into the female, and that's a female zucchini there, and that's about it. It doesn't take a whole lot. It does seem like just a little bit of rotation with the pollen is all it takes, and you only really have to do it one time, but I keep doing it. If there's a flower on it, the flower's open, I'll keep pollinating it just in case. Again, these zucchinis here have set. I'm sort of just demonstrating what to do. But that zucchini there that you're looking at now will grow into maturity, and it's wonderful once the plants start producing, because they're very robust and they produce very well. Again, grow 2 or 3 zucchinis or squashes at the same time. Now, this same method, if you're having trouble with your cucumbers, you can use the same method and hand pollinate cucumbers also. Don't use the same Q-tip. Use one exclusively for zucchini. This is a female right there. That's a female. Notice that there's a little flower attached to it. That one has been pollinated because it's already set. What else we got? Yeah, so male flowers are easy to tell because they come on a long, straight, skinny, erect stalk, if you will. Hope no pun mentioned in that. Okay, now covering it up, I take a bicycle inner tube, I cut the tube in half and make a huge rubber band out of it, and that is what I use to keep that frost cloth on the plant. I also take a metal cage and around the circumference of the pot so that it'll actually kind of give some stability to the plant and give some stability to the cloth. And every day and all day long, I do keep it covered up, because you can have some high winds, and then you've got a little opening, and then boom, you got the squash borer. Another word of caution: if you are using the same soil in the plant, if you hadn't used this method before and you have had problems with squash borer, sometimes they will lay eggs in the soil, and in the springtime or in the fall, depending on where you live, you can have the squash borer re-emerge out of the soil, and you're scratching your head and saying, hey man, this method doesn't work. I've been fastidious about keeping it covered up. So I guess that's part of the reason why they say to rotate your soil, so that you keep a particular pest at bay, and also viruses or bacteria or whatever other diseases might be in that particular soil. But it's always good to change the soil out or plant the plant in a different container that didn't have the same plant in it. Again, about 2 inches of pea gravel on the very bottom of the pots. We want to maintain good water percolation, the ability for water to... This is a shot of an adult. Nice and colorful. It looks like a wasp. This is a shot of the larva. This is what is eating your plant.